But did you see what happened in Los Angeles? The Philadelphia Eagles, all but dead, as Carson Wentz has been good, but not great in his comeback season from injury.
I think he's been good, though.
He's been good. I say he's been good, but not great. And the bottom line is that he led them to a mediocre record. And now they're just holding on for dear life to see if they'll get a chance to defend their Super Bowl title. And obviously with Carson Wentz hurt now with the back injury, Nick Foles steps in and steps up. Goes into Los Angeles.
It was a big game. This season was riding on it. And to go on the road and to beat the Rams the way that they did, I think people in Philadelphia are saying, does he have any more magic left?
Right.
Does
That's
Nick
exactly
Foles have
what
any
they're
more
saying.
magic left? Because Nick Foles, Chris, as you know, is a different guy when you give him the job and say, you're the starting quarterback. For whatever reason, it's like Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic, Fitzpumpkin, whatever you want to call him.
Right. No, I agree.
It doesn't work. It does, for whatever reason. But when you just have him come in and he's the backup and he knows he's the backup and he's just filling in, things change.
There are certain athletes, professional athletes in all sports, who don't want the burden of expectations. It's hard as a basketball player to go out every game when people are expecting 20 points and 10 rebounds.
Oh, yeah.
So I've seen players throughout my almost 3 decades of covering the NBA. There are players when there are no expectations, they'll show off, they'll play well. But then once they get the big contract or once they become the man, they don't want that burden of expectations. And they can't give you 20 and 10 every night or most nights when it's expected. You mentioned it with Nick Foles and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Same exact thing. Foles knows it. I give him credit for knowing who he is. Early in the year or before the season when teams were trying to trade for him, we'll make you a starter. You just won the Super Bowl. We'd be glad to have you.
And don't forget
He said, nah, I'm good.
Remember the Super Bowl he had? He beat Tom Brady.
He was fantastic.
He was unbelievable.
No, he
in
beat
that
the
Super
New
Bowl.
England Patriots.
No.
He beat the New England Patriots.
He was better than Tom Brady that night. He was.
Fine. He beat the New England Patriots.
No,
I mean,
better
he
to say
wasn't on
Tom
the field
Brady.
at the same time as Tom Brady, not once.
Yeah, but he caught
not till the end of the game.
He caught
when
the
they
pass that Tom Brady couldn't catch.
congratulating
You
each
remember
other.
that? Tom
No,
Brady
I don't
ran out
remember
for a
that.
pass. He looked like Roseanne Barr going out for a
you
pass.
said it last hour. We wasn't talking Aaron Rodgers, so we ain't talking Tom Brady right now.
No, but Nick Foles has a link with Tom Brady. Nick Foles is the reason Tom Brady can never be considered the GOAT.
By you.
Because Tom Brady
You're
lost
the only
to Nick
one
Foles,
who doesn't consider him the GOAT.
who's a backup quarterback. How could you be the GOAT? You lost to a backup quarterback in the Super Bowl.
Because he's won 5 Super Bowls. And he's been to 8.
Joe Montana won 4.
He's been to twice as many as Joe Montana.
That's all right,
He's
but-
in the Super Bowl basically every other year.
But he doesn't win them.
He does. He's won 5.
And he lost to Eli twice. Remember that.
That's all right. You say Eli's a Hall of Famer.
He
No
is.
shame in losing to another Hall of Famer.
Well, but it just means there's no
Who
way.
did Aaron Rodgers lose to yesterday?
There's no way.
Mitchell Trubisky?
We're not talking about.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers.
okay, then we ain't talking about Tom Brady.
What is
Keep
your-
it on the Eagles.
Stay on the subject.
That's
Chris
what I'm
Broussard.
asking you to do. Now, here's my question, because
I think you had
as
too
much
much.
as you dislike Tom Brady,
I don't dislike. I don't know Tom Brady.
You love Carson Wentz.
Yes.
You think Carson Wentz is the end-all, be-all.
Wentz in a lifetime.
The cat's meow. Wentz in a lifetime. Walk it to him, Wentz, like Shannon says.
Walking through a Wentz.
Right? But no. Why are they showing? Why were they rejuvenated yesterday with Nick Foles, Wentz's backup, on the field?
Well, but
why did they score 30 points for only the second time all season long?
Well, but you gotta-
Why are fans in Philly hyped? Fans in Philly believe again.
No, but
they
the other
do.
Yeah, but the other part is when you talk about it, it's the same thing we talk about all the time. When your backs are against the wall and your season's on the brink.
Their back's been against the wall for the last 3-4 weeks.
They were facing. Had the Cowboys won and they lost, I mean, I think it would have been all over.
That's why.
But now it's
It
open.
had nothing to do with Nick Foles. Come
No,
on.
I'm not saying Nick Foles helped them win a Super Bowl last year. He was great.
So how
And I'm
can
just-
Wentz be all that if they're playing better with the backup?
Nah,
and Wentz
I
is
think-
better.
I
Don't get me
think-
wrong.
I think
He's
you're-
better.
I think you're being crazy there when you act like.
I'm not saying. I just said Wentz is better. But they get a rejuvenation when Nick Foles is in there at the end of the season. Because I'm with you on Nick Foles being Ryan Fitzpatrick. Every time you've given Nick Foles the keys, said, we believe in you, you're the starter, it's your team, whether it was in Philadelphia earlier or in St. Louis with the Rams when they were still in St. Louis, he has not been able to deliver. Heck, the beginning of this season, he didn't deliver much. But as a backup, when anything you do is gravy, if they lose these next 2 games, nobody's going, Wentz was hurt, no big deal. We didn't expect much from the backup. He loves that. Don't expect anything. Under-deliver and overperform.
No, I get it. I mean, it's
under-promise and over-deliver.
It's easier to play that way.
But when he's playing that way, your team is like, they're live now. I think Philadelphia's dangerous now.
What do you mean dangerous? They are. They're defending Super Bowl champs.
If Wentz hadn't been hurt, they wouldn't be dangerous.
And Dak Prescott's still a quarterback of the Cowboys. They got a chance. They got a chance in the NFC East.
They got a chance in the freaking league. If they get to the playoffs, they've got a shot, Rob. Do I think they're going to do it? No. Would I pick them? No. But they would have a chance because they are rejuvenated under Nick Foles. And the question is, Rob G brought it up at our lunch, are they better off with Nick Foles? I don't mean right now. I mean, like Rob G saying they should trade Carson. Rob G, get on the line. Give us your little, I think you crazy. As much as I disagree with Rob certain times, I'm agreeing with him now. I think you're crazy. But go ahead and give us your little spiel.
You jumped a few steps there. I said if he leads them deep in the playoffs again, I didn't say win the Super Bowl, but let's say he wins a round in the playoffs, why wouldn't you explore the idea of trading Carson Wentz? It's not that Carson Wentz, I think Carson Wentz is a better quarterback, like you said, than Nick Foles.
That's why.
Don't forget.
But think about a few things. Number one, Carson Wentz injury history is 10 feet long. Going back to college, he's missed chunks of seasons for 4 or 5 straight years. Number two, what kind of king's ransom could you get for Carson Wentz?
No, but here's the other part, Rob. You got to look at it this way. We just saw, right, with the Colts, then we see Andrew Luck, right, who was hurt, has been beat up or whatever.
Right.
Did he not bounce back? And is he not playing great?
Back.
He bounced all the way back. So teams don't give up on quarterbacks that quickly. And I get it. If there was some surgery involved with this back, maybe I would be more apt to be like, I don't know about all that. But this is like precautionary. Let's rest him. Let's not put him back out there. And we have a capable backup. If they didn't have a guy who just won you the Super Bowl a year ago, I bet you he'd be playing. If they really,
Wentz?
Yeah, I bet you if they thought that they still had a shot. It's easy.
Know.
No, I'm saying because there's no surgery is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but there's still danger.
No,
of
I
getting
understand
hurt
that, but I'm
worse.
saying the difference is you have.
Because in that case, you're saying they benched him.
No, but you have a viable guy. And remember, before that win, going on the road to Los Angeles to win that game, it didn't look like they were going to be alive after
You're talking about before yesterday.
Right, before yesterday.
Yeah, but the question is, why were they so good? Yes, they would not have. I'm with you, Rob. Carson Wentz is undoubtedly better than Nick Foles. Carson Wentz is your quarterback of the future.
No, there's no doubt about it.
I don't care if Nick Foles leads them to the Super Bowl again to win it. I would not trade Carson Wentz because, again, we know what Foles is. You turn this team over to Nick Foles, and he is.
Do you remember the beginning of the season?
Below average.
Do you remember the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I remember the beginning of the season. I remember him in St. Louis. I remember him after he replaced Michael Vick as the starter, not when Vick got hurt and he came in at the end of the season. When
he was named the starter.
27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions that year. But then the next year when Vick's gone and it's like, okay,
starter.
We got Nick Foles. He's our guy. He struggled. That's who he is. That's why I wouldn't even think about trading Carson Wentz. But Carson Wentz, it's just interesting that they don't rally around him the way they've rallied around Nick Foles. And the injury history, Rob G brings it up, and it's something to pay attention to. I'm not too worried about it, but they're actually saying he could play the last game of the season against Washington. But if they beat Houston the next week, they're not bringing back Wentz, even if he's ready. Not this year.
Probably not.
And I wouldn't bring him back this year.
I don't disagree with that, especially if Nick Foles plays well. there would be no reason to do that. I agree with that. If
I would not bring
They win
him back.
again, and Houston's due, right, to lose.
Yeah, I think that. Look,
Philly is in the.
I'm not just saying this for good radio. I think now it's going to be tough to beat Houston, but as you said, they're due to lose. I think they'll definitely beat Washington if they still have something to play for, the Eagles. And I don't think Philly's dead.
No, I don't think so either.
If they get to the playoffs, they're going to be a dangerous team because they're going to be believing. They will have been humbled. They've already been humbled this year.
And we saw last year what happened when they got. Remember, everybody counted them out because of all the injuries and Wentz. And then they just rolled. They just rolled in the playoffs. They played great.
They would be in their zone. They would be right where they think they want to be, and they would be dangerous. Now, the other side of the story was what we saw from the Rams yesterday. I'm very concerned about the Rams. For most of the season, certainly the first half of the season, they look like the team to beat. In both conferences, they looked like the best team in the NFL. They looked like the team that had the greatest balance of a potent offense and a great defense.
Only
a
one
really
problem.
Good defense. That defense has fallen off of late.
Well, they're trending downwards
Very much
defensively and
downward.
offensively, and maybe, just maybe, it happens. They peaked too early. Everything was
I don't
rolling.
think they peaked too early. I think people figured them out.
No, I think that
and they're
that they
running
were playing.
not enough. They're not running.
They're not running, throwing the
Dickerson said
ball.
it.
I get that. But I still think that sometimes teams come together, and you want to be the hot team at the end of the year when things are going your way. And sometimes if you're trending downward, it continues, and then you go into playoffs and have a lousy game. I don't think they're nearly the favorite that they were when the season started, and even once they got off
They're
to the
not
season.
the favorite.
No,
You think they're the favorite?
No, I'm just saying not close to it.
No.
And they're going the other way. And if I were a Rams fan, I'd be like a little upset and disappointed that they played all this great and they were running. Everybody thought, they could run the table. They were winning by double digits, right? Every week they were scoring 35, 40 points. They look like a machine. And they're not that machine anymore.
Yeah, I started noticing. I mean, midway through the season,
I know you
even
used to
they were
kept
still
saying,
they
they
had
got close games.
wins.
There was
they
a
had
couple.
close wins. They beat the Vikings 38-31, Seahawks 33-31,
But when you
Broncos
say-
23-20,
But when you say
Packers
close wins-
29-27. You know what I mean? Now, there's a good thing to that there's something that says you can handle the adversity of a close game and pull it out.
Everybody can't win close games.
But it just told me they weren't as great and as dominant and as far ahead of everybody else as it seemed.
But sometimes
as their record said.
it's just about winning games, and sometimes there's no style points. It would be nice to have a cakewalk every afternoon, every Sunday, but it doesn't work like that.
No, not in the NFL.
So when you're able to win, I just look at it and think, you remember last year they got the surprises start. They lost in the playoffs, their first playoff game in a while, right?
Yep.
They lost.
Yep.
And this year, they're just trending down. Maybe they can recharge the battery, turn it around, and get ready for the playoffs and be more like the team they were most of the season. Right now, it doesn't feel like that.
Jared Goff has really been bad. I'm not sold on Jared Goff.
Let's squeeze one in. Mario in Seattle, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
How you guys doing, fellas?
Doing great.
I just wanted to call and say a couple of things about Carson Wentz. I think they're better off. I think they did bench him. I think they're going to go with Nick Foles the rest of the season. I think he's their clutch quarterback, man, that they go with for the rest of the season into the playoffs, because I think he can get them to the playoffs. And maybe they do trade Wentz this offseason for something better, because he's just not healthy.
I think it's the health, Mario. I just do not believe.
I don't think they benched him.
I don't believe it's because they think that Foles can get them there and that Wentz couldn't. But we appreciate the phone
here's
call.
the thing,
877-99 on Fox if you want to chime in on any of these football topics we're talking.
If I'm Philadelphia, I'm putting Carson Wentz on the IR. I'm putting him on the IR.
I don't know about that.
Why not? I'm not. There's under no circumstances would I bring him. I'm assuming Nick Foles stays healthy.
Well, but you don't know that.
Why would I bring him back?
But you just said it. If he couldn't play at all, I understand what they're doing, Chris. If he needed surgery or if he was really hurt to the point where you put him on IR to protect him. The reason that they didn't is that he still could play.
But that has to mess with your psyche. If I'm Carson Wentz, I'm the number 2 pick in the draft. I was going to be the MVP last year. I'm your quarterback of the future. I'm ready to play, and you sticking with the backup? Don't tell me that's not going to mess with you. I don't care who you are.
He's not that healthy.
And if he's cool with that, then now I'm questioning your competitiveness.
I don't think he's cool with it. I think everybody, when you're a player, that's what you do. You play, you want to play. But I don't believe that. He does have a back situation.
Well, then put him on the IR.
No, they're not ready because if they have to, sometimes guys suck it up and say, we need you to play this game.
What are they going to need him for?
I don't know. What if Nick Foles wins the game but gets hurt, and then you have one game left to make it to the playoffs?